welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net, my fellow babies. I am hopeful that you are watching as a Patreon patron. If you are, thank you for your patronage. That's keeping the cameras rolling. If you're not a Patreon patron, but you are instead a YouTube subscriber, thank you. If you're doing neither of those, please try to remember to read in the show description below how to link your Amazon Prime account with your Twitch Prime account. That gets us paid. It costs you nothing. It costs you about 15 seconds to figure out how to click 2 links and it's done. So please try to do that because we get paid. It's free money for us. It costs you nothing. You're already paying for it, so you might as well get the full benefit. All right, today's question from YouTube comes from Joe's Z Music. Is it more profitable to do a mid-cycle console refresh when the new console has better specs and is more expensive, or to continue with the same hardware and begin turning a profit as component prices come down? How, if at all, does the current chip market impact that calculus? You know, I've never really understood the whole mid-console cycle refresh. The PS2, I think, had 3 iterations, maybe. The PS3 had a lot, 4 or 5 or 6. The PS4 had more, but the old iterations, so pre-PS4, the old iterations were putting in bigger hard drives and making all the other stuff cheaper. So you would replace the components in the box because the cooling fan could be smaller, the power supply could be smaller and suck up less power. They found a way to make the thing more efficient, run cooler, so not as hot, which is good. And they figured out a way to shrink components, and they were able to put in like better DVD, Blu-ray players, that were cheaper and less clunky and made less noise and all that. That made sense. And that was to cut costs out of the system, and so each iteration of PS2 and PS3, each box got cheaper. Remember the PS4 came out, they had that super fast one.
The PS4 Pro.
That was the first one I remember where they really made it a different console. It was better. And I don't think that's profitable. I think that confuses the hell out of people. There are people who buy the PS4 Pro rather than buy a PS5 because there's like no PS5 exclusive games. The Pro is way cheaper than $500. Was it $300 now still? So way cheaper. You can play all the same games. It's damn near the same quality as a PS5. So I actually think it's a mistake because I think it hurts you on sales of your next gen console. But the fact is that the publishers, until recently, until the last 5 or 6 years, tended to price consoles lower and lower and lower as the cycle wore on. So if you go back to PS2, the PS2 came out in fall of 2000 at $300. They cut it to $200 when the Xbox original launched. So Xbox launched at $300 in fall of 2001. Sony cut the price by $100. And then 6 months later, in mid 2002, Sony cut the PS2 to $150. So trust me, they were making no money on it. They just didn't want Xbox to take any share. That's why it cracks me up. Sony's whining about Microsoft being anti-competitive now. Sony's the most anti-competitive company on the planet, and they're entitled to be. Like, that's how you run your business. So Sony are absolutely cutthroat, predatory, great at making sure that they keep competition out. But what's happened since is they launch a console at a loss. PS3 for sure, $600 was losing money. So PS4 was $400. They probably weren't making money on that. PS5 they're making money, and I think Sony likes making money. Now, in fairness, Nintendo's always made money on consoles. They price above their costs, which is again capitalism, profit deal, as they should. But here we are with the Switch. What's a core Switch model cost? Still $249, right? Or is it $299? $299. Yeah, and the Switch OLED is $349. They're probably making less money on an OLED than they are on a regular Switch, but they're making a shit ton on a Switch. But they're making $100 a unit. So I don't think mid-cycle console refreshes make sense at all. Sony did it. Microsoft did it. Microsoft did it to catch up with the Xbox One X. Sony did it to show them they're even better with the PS4 Pro. I think that hurt PS5 sales. So I don't see it. Current chip market, I don't know if you're asking this question this way. Current chip market supply chain problem. Current chip market getting faster and getting graphics cards that are that much more impressive. The delta between each iteration of graphics cards is just not that great anymore. I think we're now to where chips are ahead of displays, where you just don't even have that much widespread adoption of 4K TVs. I mean, I think we're probably at 40-50% of wealthier, Western households, but I don't think, we're at 100% yet. I saw a Walmart ad for a TCL Roku-enabled 65-inch 4K television on Black Friday weekend for $228. Isn't that crazy? So, but again, consoles, PS4 ran at 4K. Maybe not at 240 frames a second, but it ran at 4K. At 30 frames a second.
PS4 Pro did.
Yeah.
PS4 was not 4K.
Okay, but PS5 is. But again, you don't need it. I don't even have Netflix 4K, to be honest. I don't pay for it. And the interesting thing is, I know I don't have it because I don't pay for it. Prime is 4K. So I watch shows back and forth, Netflix and Prime. I don't even notice. And I have a really good 4K TV. I don't notice on TV shows. So I do think you would notice in games. I mean, you will. But because there's so much, you're controlling everything, you're actually paying attention. But I don't think it makes any sense. That's why, I've been skeptical about future consoles coming out and being materially better than the current brand, the current edition. The PS4 Pro is close to as good as the PS5. The PS6 will be not a marginal or not a material improvement over the PS5. So I think we've already reached kind of the law of diminishing returns. I don't think you see mid-console cycle refreshes anymore. You'll get new iterations if they can lower the component cost. You'll get new iterations if they can give you a 10 terabyte hard drive, sure. I'm exaggerating. I know that there's no such thing. But, you just don't need, that. You don't even need more than a terabyte. It's plenty. That's my 2 cents. And you paid a Patreon subscription, or you paid a YouTube subscription, or you linked your Prime account to your Twitch account, or you're watching this on YouTube and you didn't even pay 2 cents for my opinion. So that's what it's worth. Thanks for joining us. Hope everybody has a wonderful holiday. See you next time.